We are live. Welcome back, Ark's Pokemon Draft League. I'm Quincy Stotts, your host through this first game of the season. I am coach of the Gallivanting Gallades, and our Week 1 opponent is none other than the Commissioner himself. The guy who took us out last season, the coach of the HEARTHOME City HAXORUS. Boy, have I got a game for you guys. Noah has a pretty scary team. He has a couple really scary things on his team. He has Mimikyu, which is a threat just because of the disguise ability. He can like set up Swords Dance for free, has a pretty good move pool, and like just some solid stats to back everything up. He's not tanky, but he's not going to die in one hit to most things either. So Mimikyu is my main concern this week, I would say, which is the entire reason, almost the entire reason Gigalith was brought. He was also brought just because he's a pretty good tank for Noah's team. There's a couple downsides to him, like almost Noah's entire team resists rock type moves, so while Rock Slide does hit both sides of the field, it's going to be doing half damage to most things. But I thought Gigalith was good enough to bring just because he is tanky. He does get Sandstorm up, which I initially thought would break Disguise turn 1, but it turns out you need to be hit directly. So Rock Slide on Gigalith still serves the purpose of being like a good disguise breaker, but we did learn a little bit about the ability this week. We're also bringing Greninja with Map Block to get that initial Rock Slide off for free, and figure out if he is Choice Scarfed on anything. Other combos on the team, we have the Kartana paired with the Comfey to resist Intimidate with the Flower Veil. Comfey also has a lot of support moves on him, like Taunt to get rid of like any Trick Room shenanigans he might try to set up if we lead with it. Then he has Helping Hand, Dazzling Gleam for hitting both sides of the field. A lot of his team is also weak to Fairy type, so I thought that was just going to be a really good bring. And then we have Tailwind in case Drifblim cannot set up the Tailwind for the Kartana. Speaking of Drifblim, he is obviously paired with the Tapu Fini, who can immediately proc the Unburden, and then I can support with Drifblim from there. Who has Tailwind, Clear Smog, which is a pretty cool move, Knockoff, and Memento, which is really nice if he has something set up or we need to take something down ASAP. Excuse me, if we need to get something else in ASAP for free, because we can get the offensive drops on him, and then just switch in something that can actually do some damage. But honestly, that is kind of the team. A couple of things are speed spec to be just faster than some things, but I don't have notes on all those, so I'm not going to go into everything there. We're just going to hop into the game. First off, I was surprised to see the Mandibuzz this week. My team is like pretty well equipped to kill it, but I didn't think he'd end up bringing it. But regardless, it's not going to change our strat from the get-go. I still want to lead Gigalith and Greninja, just to test for like Scarfs, and get rid of that disguise right away on the Mimikyu that I figured he'd bring. He does end up protecting turn 1 on the Mimikyu. We Map Block, and then we just Rock Slide his side of the field, which does a decent amount of damage to Reuniclus, but he gets his Trick Room up, which is super scary because I know that Conkeldurr is pretty slow. And he actually Shadow Sneaks his own Reuniclus to get Weakness Paralysis off, which I think is really cool. However, we brought Shadow Sneak as well, and we do a pretty good amount of damage to it, and then Greninja goes down. Rock Slide takes care of Reuniclus, and then he comes back in with Conkeldurr and Mimikyu. Now what's nice about him running Trick Room is Gigalith is actually faster, which does help us out in the long run of this match. He does Mach Punch priority, hits Kartana, and then Kartana is going to Psychium Z move that Conkeldurr into Oblivion, doing ungodly amounts of damage. And we're going to get the attack boost on Kartana. And then from there, a normal Psycho Cut will one-shot Naganadel. And we do get a flinch off on Mimikyu, which is kind of lucky, but in the grand scheme of things, I don't think it mattered this match. And we're just going to Iron Head that guy. So that wraps up the first game. Pretty nice. We learned some valuable information. He's running Trick Room. The Conkeldurr is very scary. But I didn't think he'd run it again just because, you know, we're running a Guillotine now, so we're slower in Trick Room, which is nice. And we do have some good priority on his team, and Kartana is just bulky enough to live anything the Conkeldurr can throw at us in Trick Room. So we're kind of set up pretty nicely to deal with his Trick Room. So he promptly switches the strats up a little bit and goes into both his tier 1s, the dual dragon, and we led our Kartana Comfey trio right away, which, while it does have a chance to one-shot Naganadel with like a Psychium Z, I think it also gets really close if I double attack Zygarde. I knew he would be faster than me with Naganadel and probably hit Kartana with just like a special fire move. So I switch out into Tapu Fini right away. And I keep Comfey in just because Dazzling Gleam is hitting his team pretty hard. Although I kind of wish I had set up Tailwind right away. But regardless, Drifloon comes out and he's going to be able to do that. He switches out and we get a knockoff on the Mandibuzz, getting rid of leftovers. And then Tapu Fini is just going to start setting up with Calm Mind. He manually switches in Naganadel, and we hit a Dazzling Gleam that deals some pretty decent damage, considering it's hitting both Mons. And then, surprisingly, knockoff kills Naganadel there, which was just from a Drifblim. So I was really surprised by that, but hey, I'm not going to complain. Next turn, he protects on the Mandibuzz and the Conkeldurr, just to do some scouting, I think, and get that Burn Orb off, which is also really smart because Misty Terrain would have denied that had he not protected, or had Conkeldurr out sooner. Not protected, I'm sorry. But some smart tech from him gets his Guts ability working, and then here's where I kind of misplay a little bit. I should have just gone for a Dazzling Gleam here, I think. But I set up another Calm Mind for whatever reason. And then we're going to come in with Kartana. I'm hoping Kartana can just deal with these guys. However, he is faster and has priority on Conkeldurr, so he's going to one-shot KO that guy. We protect on the Ronnie just to get some health back. And then we're just going to start shooting Dazzling Gleams, because if we're faster and it connects, it does kill everything. And luckily we respect in speed to be faster than the Mandibuzz, and we Dazzling Gleam our way to victory. Kind of close in that second game. I kind of thought doing that Calm Mind would do me in that match and lose us the game there. But we were able to just barely pull through on the bulk with the, getting hit by the double priority moves. But I guess the HP and defensive EVs we invested were worth it. So that will conclude our game against the Hearthome City HAXORUS. We take it in a 2-0. A pretty close game the second match was, but hey, we win those. GG's to Noah. Super awesome game. And I'm excited to see what he does the rest of the season. And I'm excited to play the rest of the season myself. Also, big thanks to him. He was kind enough to get this game in early with me. So, I appreciate that. But that's going to wrap up the week 1 from the Gallivanting Gallades. I will see you guys in upcoming weeks.